Welcome to Habs Tonight. My name is Aaron Amadeus with the Dutch Gretzky himself, Mr. Dale Weise. What's going on, buddy?
Oh, not much, buddy. Just getting fired up off that intro, man. Every time I get jacked up off it, and man, I'm fired up. We got Prusty today, one of my all-time favorites.
We got Prusty.
I'm jacked up.
And just to let you know, I'm drinking Coke Zero with a little bit of cherry.
Beautiful.
If you get the hint.
Beautiful.
A little bit of cherry. No? Okay. Just having fun there. Big show Saturday. We'll talk about it a little bit later on. It has been an insane week. It has also been an insane day in the National Hockey League. If you're a Habs fan, this is the show you want to be watching right now. Make sure you're online. Over 107 people right now, just in the first couple of seconds as the show starts. Keep those numbers up. I promise you this will be one of those shows where you're going to hear some really funny stories and interact with Dale Weise and Brandon Prust. And once again, interactive, get onto the show live at habstonight.com. Once again, live at habstonight.com. Get all your information in. We'll answer any question that is put in front of us over here on the chat. Someone says, "Oh my God, Aaron, seriously? It's a joke. It's the cherry joke. Come on." I'm allowed to poke a little bit of fun. It's been a very toxic place on Twitter the past little bit. So,
has it ever?
I know.
My goodness.
Before we get Prusty on, when you were playing, was Twitter always so, I don't want to say negative, but so negative?
I think when I started my career in Vancouver, I had Twitter for the first year, and then I had to get rid of it because I was literally getting lost in the comments where people are just shredding me, and I was at the point where it's like, holy smokes, like I'm the worst human being, I'm the worst hockey player. There's a million guys on Twitter that are better than me, and what am I doing with my life? So I had to get off it, and then I got on Instagram just last year, and then I've had Twitter for a couple years, but I didn't really look at the comments. So it's crazy.
Yeah, you need thick skin. And you know what? Today you were trending in Canada. Dale Weise was trending in Canada. Woo! We were talking about that before. Lots of stuff to get to. So just off the top, big thank you to Anik, Alyssa, Brandon, Drew, Shane, James. And remember to hit that subscribe button. If you're watching the show right now, make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube. You always want to be close to what we are doing because new shows come out live all the time. When the Habs the other day were postponed, we did a postponement post-game show right away. And we were one of the very few shows you can actually go in and interact and talk about what was happening with the COVID situation. But without further ado, I don't want to let this guy sit around. I mean, he's Brandon Prust. So let me just do a nice little introduction here before we bring him on. So with over 486 games in the National Hockey League, he made his mark in many teams in many cities, but I would say definitely Montreal. He made his mark with his passion. The unlikeliest hero, the hero of the day. I can't say more. Mr. Brandon Prust. Prusty, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, so pumped to get you on, buddy. I know when we talked about it, man, you were one of the first guys. Oh, yeah. The playoff shirt, too, just in case any of the fans are wondering.
And we were talking, so Dale and I have been talking about the 2014-2015 team, and every time we talk, he's like, man, if they would have kept that team together, me, Prusty, PK, every time you see his eyes light up, and he's like, oh, we could have done something amazing. So I want to dig a little bit deep into that today. Also want to talk to you a little bit about what you've been doing. You're in London, Ontario right now, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you're at hometown. You're not at the Beef Baron. You're at home, right?
No, just because of COVID.
I used to work at a place right across the street from the Beef Baron, so I have, fond memories of seeing the building from the outside.
What's the Beef Baron? Hold on here. I mean, I have an idea. I've only been to London once.
It's a strip club. It's a strip club.
Okay.
It's some food. But it's this weird spot of London where literally they're rebuilding and revitalizing, like Dale Weise does with a lot of properties all over Canada. He revitalizes them. You like that segue?
Infill projects,
nice, absolutely. But like these beautiful buildings and everything right in this spot in London, and across the street, it's this old raggedy biker bar called, like I said before.
What a name, though! That's incredible.
I know. We've seen many London nights there.
That's good branding. That's really good branding right there.
Yeah. So Brandon, welcome to the show, man. You're just hanging out?
Yeah, just hanging out. Not much. Just chilling. We're out of quarantine here, so able to roam around a bit.
Can you show us the shirt? Because you were showing it before, just so everybody can see what that is.
It's just for our playoff workout shirts, I guess.
So is that an actual game-worn T-shirt that you wore during the playoffs?
Yeah, I wore it. We'd wear it, after games. You wear it to work out in the dressing room after the game. Like, I didn't wear this underneath because I wear long sleeves. This is a short sleeve.
Had to keep the guns in, Aaron. He had to keep the guns in there.
I know. Well, hey, there's that classic clip where you're fighting someone, and then I forget, he says, which shoulder, and I'm just like, man, this guy's ripped.
Yeah, that was Rinaldo. It was after I think I hurt my shoulder. I think I blew out my AC joint, so it was kind of one of my first games back, and Ronaldo wanted to fight, and I was like, all right, fine, I guess I'll test it out.
It didn't take much to twist your arm. It didn't take much to twist your arm.
No. He was trying to act nice about it, like, oh, I won't hurt your shoulder. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, come on, bud.
Like, oh, what side of your face? What side of your face hurts? I won't punch it. Like,
I won't go after that shoulder. It's like, come on. Yeah. You're lucky to just hang in there, anyways. Come on.
That's a good one. So, as I was mentioning off the top, today is the day for any hockey talk. We've got the news right now with Tim Peel. For those who've been living under a rock today, Tim Peel, NHL official, last night during a game against Nashville and Detroit, he made the of basically, I mean, you guys are players, you know this. Sometimes a good call is made, a bad call is made, a referee, and like any sports, like, okay, don't worry, I'll make it up for a little bit afterwards, or that's usually how it goes. He made the mistake of saying that on a mic they call it a hot mic because it's turned on, and he didn't realize it was turned on. After the game, it went on Twitter. Once again, we're talking about Twitter being that kind of a toxic place. I think in this time, it played out to be the better. And first thing in the morning today, Tim is no longer allowed to officiate any games this year and will no longer be allowed to officiate for the NHL moving forward. And this is huge news. I know you guys both played with him as a referee, but first of all, I'll ask you first and foremost, did the NHL make the right move by just, getting rid of him right away because of the issue with the sport and the integrity of the sport? Brandon, you first.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, as a player, you hate seeing shit like that. You always thought it in your head of a ref coming in with an agenda. You can't, as a ref, come into the game with an agenda. And he just proved that some of them do. And you wonder why players get frustrated and stuff. And Tim Peel was one of those pieces of shit that we hated. The guy was arrogant. The guy was just an arrogant. How much can we swear on this show? I don't know.
Hey,
you can do what you want, man.
You do whatever you want. You say whatever you want, bud.
So him just saying, I wanted to give Nashville a penalty early. Like, are you kidding me? You already came into the game ready to give his, like, oh my God, for sure. Get him out of there and take his pension away too.
That's incredible. Like, for me, from the business side, like, we're trying to get sports gambling. They're trying to grow the game. And you got a guy like this. Like, that's horrible for the NHL. And I took flack on Twitter today where people were getting mad at me about it. And I'm just like, anybody that compromises the integrity of the game, like, you're done. You got caught doing it, you're finished. Like,
well, the NBA
there's no argument.
Too.
There's no argument there. Like, it's happened a million times.
Tim Peel had a buddy that put a bet on Detroit for him for sure that game. I'll just call a couple penalties early.
Yeah, hey, big deal.
Have you had run-ins with Tim during games before?
Yeah, he's just, one of those guys you try to talk to, he won't talk to you, and if he does talk to you, he's just, you're wrong and he's right, and he's just an arrogant. I'm not surprised at what he said.
Gotcha. So this was more of what comes around goes around type of thing, and karma got in his way at this point with the mic, right? So let me ask you more about the referee situation. Dale, you brought up a great point. The National Hockey League is getting into the gambling phase. That's a big thing for sponsors. Sponsors might come in here and say, hey, you know what, like the NBA, like it happened with the National Basketball Association, where they actually caught a ref making bets. It was terrible for the NBA.
Right.
I think with you guys, obviously, if you take away the history that you have with it, yeah, they made the right decision to do what they possibly can for the integrity. But here's the question to both of you, and Dale, I'll go with you first, and then to Brandon. How do you now, since everybody actually is talking about that this is kind of the norm, it happens, where do you take it from here? Because how do you now police this? And when everybody says, okay, we got one guy doing it, but realistically, we know that everybody kind of plays by these types of rules. Dale first, then Brandon.
Right, yeah. So they say they have like a head of officiating that's, I don't know if there's one guy at every game, that he's there. I've seen it a couple times. When I was scratching Philly, I'd always walk by the refs room after games and I'd see the guy waiting and he'd talking to them. And I always wondered myself, like, what are they talking about? Like, there's no way they go in there in the back and pat each other in the back and said they did a good job because, speaking from a player's perspective, they haven't had one good game since I've ever seen hockey. So, it's just, that's reffing to me. Like, there's so many judgment calls, and that's kind of part of it. I understand that. But to me, it's like having that he came out and got caught is just so satisfying for me as a player, because there's so many times where I'm screaming at refs and we know exactly what's going on and you see it happening and they're like staring at the bench and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's stuff like this where, we talked about it today, Aaron, they're never going to have to be held accountable where they're going to have to talk to the media after. That's just never going to happen. It hasn't happened in any sport. It's not going to happen for hockey, but there's no way to police it. It's been happening forever. This guy got caught. It's a fucking really sore spot for the NHL. And they handled it accordingly, and I think that's their way of showing that they handled it correctly, and moving forward they'll try to be on top of it. But I don't really know how you can evaluate that or stay on top of it.
What do you think, Prusty? How would you do it?
I think it's we always wondered as players, are these refs watching video like we watch video? So I know the next day, if I made a couple turnovers, it's on the video next day. I'm going to the coach's office. Like, hey, you screwed up. Are these refs watching and being held accountable? I know they don't have to ever answer to media. We're always looked like, keep your cool. If you get frustrated, you look like, oh my God, he's a hothead or whatever. But it's so frustrating to see when you suspect, an agenda going on, or refs calling a game one way, or I remember guys like Weise and I will get called on penalties way more than if Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin and those guys did the same thing that Weise and I did, we're getting a 2-minute penalty, but they're not. Or if someone sticks us, it's like, oh, it's Prusty or Weise, we're not calling that. But if it happened to someone, which is bullshit.
Oh man, that's so true.
That's the stuff that we have to live through, right? Like, I get plowed from behind and like just head first into the boards, and there's no call. The ref's just like, well, that's Prusty. But if it was anybody else, it's going to be a penalty. So that's the frustration level that we always played with, and you have to keep your calm. And obviously, sometimes we did.
Man, that's so true. I cannot tell you how many times where like is a borderline hit from behind, or I got sticked, and the ref would be like, "Well, you're a tough guy. You can handle it." It's like. What? That's a slash is a slash, regardless if you're slashing, whoever it is. Like, call the penalty, man, and it never happened. That frustrated me still to this day.
I would play devil's advocate for referees all the way from junior. I will just say this, that I think they have a very tough job. A lot of their job is being taken away now through automation. As well, when you go to these rinks and you see these kids playing, parents are yelling at these refs. They're waiting outside to fight with them. Like, it's a hard thing to do, right? But I agree with what you're saying, Prusty. You can't set a standard for one player. Yeah,
and also, we're tearing apart refs right now, and they do have a tough job. And there was a lot of good refs. I think the best refs there were the ones that let the guys play. And as long as you're calling it one way in a game, stay consistent. Those refs were great. The refs, when you left a game and there was maybe 2 power plays aside, that's a great game. Like, hey, we know you're letting shit go. Like, but it's when you get those lopsided games and those terrible calls, and you just, there are a lot of good refs out there though, for sure.
Yeah. So what's the worst thing? Because Prusty, you played definitely on the edge, right? And I remember when you got traded from Montreal to Vancouver, a lot of people said, well, this is what they said in the media. They wanted you to move to Vancouver because you had a reputation with the refs. It could cost penalties in the playoffs. That was some of the spin that people were trying to do. So in a situation where you're playing on the edge, you have confrontation with the referee, what's the worst thing that a ref has said to you that you're just like, what am I going to say now? Because I'm going to put my team in a position because I can't say anything back.
Well, that incident with Brad Watson, I think, was one of the worst interactions I've had with the ref. I was giving it to him on the way to the box because he called me for kind of a weak penalty, and then I got in a fight. So I was pretty fired up, and I gave it to him on the way to the box, and he followed me to the box, or he was going to the box too. Kind of kept at him, and then in the box, he comes in and he just starts going at me like, keep fucking talking. I will run you out of this building. I will run you out of here. Keep talking. I will tee you. And I was just literally, I didn't say anything. I just went, yep. Wow. And he fucking teed me up. And I was like, no way, this guy. I didn't say, I just was like, yeah, I was being a fucking smart ass. Like, yeah. I didn't say anything. I didn't say fuck you. I didn't do anything. So he teased me up, 4-minute penalty in the playoffs. They score on it. We end up losing the game eventually. That one, I think, made it like 3-1 or something. So it was a big goal. So after the game, that's when I remember our PR guy is coming in. He's like, Prusty, the media wants you. I was like, do not send me out to the media. He's like, okay. He comes back like 2 minutes later. He's like, Prusty, I go, do not send me out to the media because I am going to lose my shit. And he's like, and then he comes back a third time. He's like, Prusty, the media really wants to talk to you. I'm like, all right, I fucking warned you. And then that's when I was like, the media asked what Watson did. And I told them. I said, what Watson said. I was like, that goes back to them not being held accountable. He's allowed to come and fucking antagonize me while I'm sitting in the penalty box. And then, I obviously shit hit the fan. Next day I have a meeting with Therrien and Berge. And Berge is like, Prusty, that's a career killer. You just blackballed yourself from the league. I'm like, what? For what? For calling for this guy being and like I was fucking
standing up for yourself. Yeah.
That was in tears. I'm like, you really think like I'm fucking done? Like I just blackballed myself? Like he's like, that's a career killer. Something saying like letting the media know what the ref said to you. And then fucking it was after those playoffs is when I got traded. So
man, that fires me up so much. That's his staff that should have not let you go talk. I remember being in the dressing room and I remember you saying no. I'm not going to mention the PR guy's name, but Prusty's like, no. And everybody's like, why are you asking him to go? Like the guy, you could see he's fuming. And you keep, what do you think he's going to say? I love that you...
I was in a blackout, like when you just get so angry, like you're just seeing fucking red.
Yeah, and I thought it was awesome. I think that's great. That's the problem with hockey's culture. He gets brought in the room by a GM, and he tells him, "Oh, that's a career killer because you're trying to hold someone accountable." That's such garbage to me. Like that is what needs to change. You should be able to speak up. That's what makes sports entertaining. How many people love Brandon Prust from that moment? Everybody loved that moment. That's unreal. Like, speak your mind, be truthful. Like, why are they not being held accountable? There's so many people in hockey that are not held accountable because you don't say this, don't say that. It's hush this. Man, that fires me up so much. I hate that.
Yeah, no. And there's, the other spots where we think of too is the spear. I'm not going to say spear, but the gentle tap to Marchand. And you weren't. I mean, listen, that's the great thing about you. You're not shy, right? Look at him. He's not hurt in that picture. I just think he's just relaxed.
Here's the thing on that story. So Marchand obviously been running his mouth like his whole career, and great player. I do respect the guy. Obviously, he does shit that bugs the shit out of you, and he would never fight me. He'll never fight me. So he's gumming that game, and it's like 4-1, 3 minutes left, and I'm happy to be on the ice against him. And I'm like, oh, all right, I got to try and antagonize him to make him like angry, to make him come at me. So I just kind of skate by. I literally gave him a tap to the nuts. He knew it was me, so he dropped down. If it was anybody else, if it was someone like he could have taken, like he would have just went like, hey, like, and went after them. But it was me, and he knew it was me, so he just dropped. But I was just giving him a spear to make him go like react to me, and come at me, because then I was just going to drop my gloves and start fucking hammering him. I was so pissed he dropped.
That would have been beautiful.
The last thing I wanted him to do was fall down. Like it wasn't that hard because I did not if I wanted him to fall down, I would have made him fall down. Like I literally just gave him like little jab, make him agitated, and he just dropped like a.
You got fined. You got fined for that, right?
Best 5Gs I ever spent.
Oh, Alyssa Hope just fired that up. What a comment! That's so good too.
Yeah, that clip is literally one of the best clips.
That's so good.
History.
That's so good. There's very few guys that have the balls to say that.
Oh yeah,
that's beautiful.
And then, so let's also talk about the Walrus situation, Ottawa, the playoffs. We talked about this the other day. So we talked about the hit on Eller, and then you know what? There it is. We don't care what that bug-eyed Walrus has to say, Brandon Brown. So these are your words. I just want to make sure.
The one funny thing was my one buddy, when I got home after that season, I went fishing with my buddy, my fishing buddy, and he handed me this hat. And on the hat, it says bug-eyed fat walrus. So that situation was kind of another situation where I was like, I shouldn't have been talking to the media. And it was the next day, but we had so that was the Lars Eller got smoked coming across the middle, and it would have been, I would say, 5 in the playoffs. It would have been 2 games now. Regular season, that's going to be a 5-gamer, 10-gamer, right? Depending on
easily now.
So, so Eller, off on a stretcher, bleeding, face smashed, like poor guy, right? And the next day, this Paul McLean is going, doesn't even say his name, just like his number. Oh, number this and like number that. Like he should have, that was a bad pass. Like he should have had his head up, like just total disrespect towards my teammate. And I see this after practice. I see the interview, and then I'm watching it. I'm going, this I'm like, oh my God, this piece of shit. And then all of a sudden, Trusty media
again.
180 to go to the media, and I'm just fuming, and I'm like, this bug-eyed fat walrus. Oh man!
What made? I mean, was it really? Did you just come up with that on the fly? That he looked like a walrus, so you're going to call him a walrus, or?
Oh, I think he looks like a walrus. So he's like, the guy you just saw the picture beside you. The walrus and him, they do look similar. I mean, I think it's something that's always been in my head. I probably thought that playing against Ottawa all the time and seeing his interviews, I'm just like, this pigeon fucking walrus 100 times, right?
I can imagine what the locker room was back then.
Oh, it was awesome. That's so fun. We love that stuff, like
I had an A on jersey the next game. I was wearing the A.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so, man.
I love it. And the famous from the 24CH that series that came out, and when you had your hats on, it was you and Galchenyuk, and you each had your hat, and the famous "In Prust We Trust" line came out, and this was just classic. So the question's going to be: do you have any of those hats left?
I do have one hat left. It's upstairs in my bed.
Oh,
I've kept one. I think my dad has one, and I think my nephew has one. The rest, I'm not sure. I'm sure I could call New Era and get a bunch made, though, for sure.
Did you ever find out who won? Who got more sales? Was it you or was it Galchenyuk?
Obviously me, for sure.
And did Weise? You didn't get a hat. I mean, you should have a fedora.
No, we all had the New Era ones, which were sick, that our numbers on it and stuff. But I didn't. I mean, I didn't have the In Prust We Trust. I didn't have that kind of like handle yet. That's high level shit, man.
And then if you go on the Canadiens, I would suggest someone goes on the Canadiens YouTube channel. There's a video of Brandon, and they're interviewing him, asking questions about certain players. Name this player based on the name of the dog, right? And then you're like, I don't know, who has a tattoo of a tractor? And you're like, Moen, right? And then they ask, who is the Dutch Gretzky? And you're like, I don't know.
I still don't know where the heck it came from. Like, what the heck is this Dutch Gretzky talk about?
Man, yeah, like it like it came from Vancouver, but like it wasn't like I was promoting it in the room. It's not like I'm walking around like, "Hey, boys, you know what they're calling me? They're calling me the Dutch." Like, not like nobody in the room probably knew what it was, and I think nobody paid attention, like in the media too, right? Like, guys aren't sitting there reading that many of the comments, so I'm not surprised you didn't know that one.
Yeah. So you both. I mean, sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
Prusty.
Yeah. I never. I didn't know it from. I didn't know it. I just heard it from like fans, and when people started, I'm like, where did this Dutch Gretzky come from? I was called Gretzky once by my minor league coach Ryan McGill. We were watching tape. We were watching tape. It wasn't in a good way. We were watching tape. It was playing like shit for a couple games. And I think in this one video, I try to backhand sauce, obviously, right? Because that's my go-to backhand sauce, and it gets picked off, right? And coach we're watching video, whole team, and he goes, "Here's Brandon Gretzky with a backhand sauce," and turnover.
Oh, this is awesome. We're getting good stuff. I'm looking at the time, and I'm like, okay, we got to make sure we're gonna keep going because this is just going, we weren't wrong with this being a great show and a great topic today. So I want to get back when we're going to go at the end. I want to get back to Tim, referees. I want to get back. I want to touch on coaches because you both played for very similar coaches. I believe you both had Torts. So from a player's perspective, and especially yourself, Prusty, because like I said, you're edge of the player type of guy. You'll defend your teammate. You're in, all the battle areas. You give 150% all the time. Who was the best coach that you played for that got the best out of you, and who was the coach that you just didn't care for, didn't do anything for you?
Well, Torts was definitely that coach because that was kind of where I made my mark in the NHL and I got my opportunity. When I was in Calgary, I had Mike Keenan my first year, who was good, but I broke my jaw and I missed a lot of time that year. And then they hired Brent Sutter, and who's I think a piece of shit. But anyway, move on from that. Then Torts. He just kind of gave me my chance and let me play and I went with it and I played hard and I fought and he loved me and I got rewarded from it. So for me, Torts was that main guy that gave me that opportunity. He was hard on me, which I loved. I always played better. I think when I was being held accountable, and I held myself accountable a lot, but Torts was really good that way. And he was hard on everybody, which I respected. He wasn't just picking on the third, fourth liners. He was picking on even top guys that they played like shit. So, and that was the same with Tarian. Tarian was the same. He was hard-nosed coach, and I respected the way that he treated everybody equally, and he kind of told it how it was. Right, there was no sugarcoating anything. So I like that. I liked when the guys were honest with you. If you're not playing or if you screw up, be honest and upfront. Hey, you're playing like shit right now. Like you're not involved. You're hurt. Whatever. Okay, thank you for telling me. Like I need to wake up. I really respected that. So that was Torts and Michelle were good that way. The coach that he was a great guy, but in Vancouver, Willie Desjardins was he just didn't have the passion that that you look for in a coach as a player. I remember we lost a couple in a row. We'd be up 2-1 going into the third period and 3-1, whatever. And we'd come back, or they'd come back and beat us like 2-3 games in a row. And I'm like, and same speech every game. And I'm like, Derek Dorsett sits beside me. I'm like, is he going to yell at us today? Like, come in and fucking kick a garbage can, like throw something at somebody. Cause there's guys that are just playing like absolute shit. And, no, nothing. Just
wow.
Yeah, we're gonna be good today, guys. We're gonna be good. I'm like, holy fuck! Like you just I lost my fucking. You kind of lose that passion, right? You're self motivating yourself, and which you have to do a lot as a player. You have to self motivate yourself for sure, but you also feed off the energy of your other teammates, your leaders, and your coach, right? So I definitely. Willie was a great guy, but I just didn't think he was a good coach.
Now you mentioned Sutter, and I won't ask you to get into details of it, but how do you think the current Flames with some of the young guys that they have right now are going to adjust to his style today?
Well, yeah, definitely would be interesting to see. But Daryl was, I enjoyed Daryl. Daryl was never my coach. He was one that drafted me. I have a lot of respect for Daryl. I think, he's, I think that's what Calgary needs. I think they need a kick in the ass. So some teams need that kick in the ass. Some teams can't handle it, right? Like when Torts went to Vancouver, man, that team wasn't meant to have an army coach, right? Those guys were like, they're just like, what? This guy's yelling at us. You have a bunch of guys that have had Alain Vigneault. That's just, I think, fairly easy going. You had him, right, Weiser?
Yeah, I mean, when Torts came there, man, I said it in the media this summer. I was like, I don't think John Tortorella would be a good option for this team. Like, we had such an older team, and they pretty much coached themselves. So it was kind of weird to bring that guy in, man, and it failed immediately.
So that does not fit. I mean, I found it fit while he's kind of in Columbus and New York. He had foot soldiers. You need foot soldiers. You need guys that are like, all right, leader, tell us, and we're going to go. You can't go to a team that's been playing together for that long, and he comes trying to boss everybody around.
Yeah, it didn't work, man. It didn't work. I remember in it might have been the first year you got there. I got called up at the end of the year when 2010 is your first year there, right?
20
in New York.
Oh, in New York, 2009.
Yeah. So when you lost the last game of the season there, like I remember when I got called up the last 3 weeks, man, and I was like, I took warm up every day and play, and I just loved it. Like, remember the speeches Torts was giving down the stretch there? Like, that was insane. Yeah. Like, it was nuts. I remember the one time, man.
What a speech here.
Man, like Gabrick had 5 like heat packs on his body at one time, and he's like started ripping him, and he like pretty sure he's on like a 9-game point streak or something. And then he like didn't play that night. It was who was your line? Jody, Shelley, and Boyle maybe, and
Anisimov.
Man, like you guys were on fire too.
Yeah. We had, so that's when we just kind of when you came up there.
Yeah.
Line, me and Anisimov really, and Shelley, we just took off. We were literally scoring like
every game, man. The last 5 games, like you guys were the best line.
Like, game tires, like game go ahead.
Oh, huge! Yeah,
period. We were just buzzing, like we were feeling it. That was the best. That was some of the best hockey. That's when I was like, okay, like I remember getting a call from Team Canada. Like I came out of nowhere, and Team Canada wants me to go play World Juniors or World Championships. Possibly, it didn't end up happening, but that's how much I went on the radar. From I literally wasn't sure if I was going to get a contract next year in New York, and just like once you get that confidence, and that's what Torts gave me. So I'll always respect him for that.
Wow. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that we touched on. Gallagher, Brendan Gallagher, he lived with you when you were in Montreal.
No, he didn't live with me.
He didn't live with you. Okay.
I think he slept over a couple times.
Okay.
So late night sleepovers.
He lived with Josh Georges.
Josh Georges. Okay, sorry, I got that one mixed up. But you and Gally, you guys were close.
Yeah. Well, and that was my first year with the Habs, and then Galchenyuk and Gallagher's first year in the NHL, and we ended up becoming a line that year, and we were buzzing pretty good. So they were always, I was protecting them too, right? Anybody touched them, I was getting in a fight. Like Gally, I probably fought 8 times that year. Just as a Gally coming in to stick up for him, right? So yeah, I was close to them. I still am. I still text those guys quite a bit. So. Yeah.
So quick question for you. I know, Dale, you want to get into this. So 2014, you guys go to the conference finals. We've talked about this before. Dale and a lot of us believe that if that injury doesn't happen to Carey, you're making it to the Stanley Cup. Whatever happens at that point happens. So the question is, does that 2014 team, if it was there today, do you believe that team is one of the better Habs team in recent histories that would actually make it to that next level?
I would say so for sure. There hasn't been, since Weise and I left, the key pieces, I think they've been like.
I've been saying it, man. We can joke about it, but I've been saying it. Like I said it on the last show. We talked about it, man. There was something about that team. Like, every team says they're close, but there was something about that team and the run we went on. Even our 2015 team was really good, man. Like, we lost to Tampa. Tampa went to the final. Like, they were unreal too. Like, we had a really good team, and I really think he blew it up too quick. What do you think?
Well, yeah, for sure. He definitely blew it up. I think we could have done more for sure. I know you guys had a good year. I think when I got traded to Vancouver, I'm pretty sure you guys had a really good year that year too. And then kind of after that fell apart. But we had and Tokarski when he came in played amazing. But he had to play amazing because our energy went down when Carey Price goes out. It's like, it brings down the whole like just a feeling, right? You have that confidence with Carey Price back there, and Ticker we knew nothing about. We got this kid that just called up, and we're like, holy shit, we got this kid.
He looks like a beer league goalie. I love the guy, but just
I remember I think it was first morning skate before the game, and I was like, I was trying to hit him. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna bury this. I gotta give this guy confidence because hopefully he's just nervous. But guys were sniping on him. We're like, guys, hit him in the pads, please.
Let him feel it.
Yeah. And there's a question that's been going on for a long time. Maybe you guys can answer it right now. Tony asks it, and he's begging to get this answered. Why didn't Budaj play?
I still to this day don't really know, but I know Tokarski had a really good, kind of junior run, and I think was playing good in the minors. And I don't know, Budaj, I can't really remember. Maybe I think was struggling near the end of the year, but that was just a decision that they made, and nobody really knew. I think it caught us all off guard. When I found that out, and I was like, oh man, imagine being. I felt for Budaj because he's thinking he's going in, but. There was no real. They don't give you explanations. It's not like they come and explain it to you, right? They just. You're like, oh shit! You kind of have to figure it out on your own, and I think that's why, Ticker's just in his young life there had really accomplished a lot as a goalie, and obviously they saw something in him, and he stood on it. He played amazing, and I think the demeanor of the team would have been different, and our confidence and our energy would have been different if Pricer was still in, because we just didn't play the same after Pricer was out. We weren't the same team.
Yeah. And when you got traded to Vancouver and the Cassian trade, obviously, we're going to get into that in another show because it's a good topic to get into. So you get traded to Vancouver. Ultimately, when you got traded, do you feel that it was because of a mixture of things? You're talking about the ref stuff. You're talking about, Bergevin saying you're kind of blackballing yourself in that type of situation. What was ultimately where you feel that the reason why you got shipped?
Well, I'm not sure. I know I also had a lot of injuries in that year. I'd been battling a rib injury. I know that it's not a bad trade to get a way younger guy like Cassian. And I'm turning 32, so they're kind of know I'm coming to the end of my. Maybe I started slowing down. I thought I had a pretty good playoffs. I'm pretty sure I was playing pretty solid, but it's just a little bit of everything. I know there's, I don't think it had anything really to do, but there was a little beef between PK and I before the playoffs. I don't know if that had a factor, but I don't really know. I think it's just it wasn't a bad. It ended up being not a great trade for him because I don't think Cassidy played a game, but it wasn't a good trade for anybody. I mean, I wasn't the same when I went to Vancouver. Somehow the passion I had a bad ankle injury. You kind of lose the passion a little bit. And it's just, I don't think that trade was good for anybody. And, the Habs haven't been the same since I left and then Weise left. So
you left, PK left, Weise left. Like, I mean, it was a completely different team at that point. Everything just changed. Right. And I mean, I would say this, and a lot of fans do say this, that fourth line, even the third line was just it was so dynamic. Right,
we had good character on that. What was me, you, and Danny Briere?
What a line, man!
Me and you playing with Danny B. Like, we're stoked going into games, and guys would feed off our energy. And remember that one time, me and you just smoking Thornton.
I loved it. Oh yeah.
Well, I remember before that game, I just got back. Oh, you know what? I don't think I played. I think I was healthy scratched the game before because I played bad the one game, so they scratched me. And the next game I came in like I'm ready to go. I got my kill everybody pills going, and and I pulled something in my back and like it right down my neck. I could not even turn my neck. I'm like, no way. Like I gotta like. And I was just like, Doc, I'm like, freeze my whole back. Like put needles all down here. I want you to freeze all the muscles on my right side of my back. And they did. And then I felt great after that.
Go there, do what you got to do.
First shift, me and Dale just rushed and Sean Thornton.
Oh, man.
Man, you know what? When I think, sorry, Aaron, when I think about that, our fourth line was so good that whole run that it really kind of changed the scope of the NHL from then on. I don't want to say that our team was the reason for it, but I really feel like things really started to change after that year because our fourth line had such a big impact. Yeah. Like our fourth line was huge, and I could really see total enforcers were kind of shifting away, but I think that the impact and like all the publicity our fourth line was getting during that run, everybody was realizing like, man, we got to get a fourth line that can play. We need some guys that are tough, but we need some guys that can play too.
And you start seeing the change in the minutes, right? So the fourth line used to play 4 minutes, and then your top line's 23, 24 minutes. So they started realizing, hey, if we can rest, we can give our top guys 20 minutes, and we have an effective, fourth line that can log, 8 to 10 to 12 minutes or whatever, depending on if they're penalty killers or not. But, if you get your fourth line at 8 minutes a game instead of 4, that's going to help your other lines be like a little more energetic, not as tired. And, as long as you got a good fourth line that can pull that weight, that's a huge, you see the teams that are winning Stanley Cups, their fourth lines are always logging some minutes. Right. So,
changing each line pulling in all their, all the energy, everything that they can do, 4-line unit, right? What's your best moment in Montreal? So if you think back and you think about the Habs, all the years that you were there, what is the best moment that you can remember about being a Montreal Canadian?
Oh, there's a lot. Obviously, our playoff run, going obviously falling short to the Rangers. Just that playoff run and beating Boston in Game 7 in Boston, and we scored that first goal of the game. And then the line shake after when Lucic is yelling at guys and Markov's going, look at me in the eye. Lucic's like, fuck you. And then going into the tunnel, I remember Burge waiting for us in the tunnel, and he's high five. He's like, we're going to New York. I remember saying it. We were just so pumped. And that was a pretty good run, and it sucks it fell short. But that was another thing, when Kreider goes, crashes into Price, and I remember people being like, why'd you? Because I was, going after Kreider after that, and I'm like, obviously this guy just took out our number one player, whether it's an accident or on purpose. I want to beat the shit out of him. And it was an accident. I'm like, fuck. And no, it wasn't. And might have been an accident, but accidentally on purpose. Remember that? I played in New York. I know what's taught there, and it's accidentally on purpose slide into the goalie. So I fucking know that.
Hot take right there. That's going to be a clip. I like that one. Okay, because that's the thing we never even realized. We were watching the clip, and we're like, "Hey, Dale's on the ice, and so is Weise is on the ice, and so is Prust." When Carey gets hit, we're like, and we talked about it. One stride here, one stride there, a hook. Everything is completely different, right?
Kreider did lose his balance, but Kreider's not like his IQ is pretty low. So he's just going full tilt, 100 miles an hour at the goalie. Like if you lose your balance, they're gone, and that's exactly what happened. Like he was going full tilt. Like it's like guys that cut in on the goalie and end up running them over. It's like, you can't do that. If someone closes you off or you lose your balance or can't stop, you're taking the goalie's head off. So I mean, there's as a hockey player, the dangers, and taking out a goalie and how you can do it. So you just got to go full speed, pretend you fall, and see you later, goalie.
Yeah, this is. I got to tell you, Prusty. We have about 370 people live in the chat, watching the show live, which is a record for us right now. So this is people are loving these stories. They're absolutely loving these stories. I think we have to have like a part two. Now we're up to like almost 380. We have to have like a part two of Prusty because
we see anything.
That's awesome. Okay, so before we let you have the rest of the evening to relax and do your thing, let's go back to the ref issue that we talked about before. Tim Peel, you guys have both talked. The word that Weise uses a lot is smug. Some individuals can be very smug. It's a nice way of saying not very nice, right? I get the feeling that Tim was not very good to a lot of players, used his authority as an advantage to a lot of people. Am I wrong here, or am I just off in a different direction?
No. I'm sure he treated. I'm sure he talks to Sid the Kid pretty nicely, but he was just there was refs out there that were great and they were approachable, and even if you come up to them with respect, they're going to give it back. And I've tried to go up to Tim before with nice, hey, Tim, can you and it's like, get out of here. No, I don't need this. And you're like, holy fuck, I can't have a conversation with this guy. How do you have a ref that you can't have a conversation with? Like, it's not like I'm going, fuck, what do you like? I'm not like, I've literally tried to approach him like nicely before and calmly. And it's still just his arrogant. That's all I gotta say about it.
What about going up to linesmen? Have you ever had a situation where you talk to a linesman and they say, "Hey, listen, I agree with you, but there's nothing I can do"? Or does that happen?
Linesmen were always pretty good because they were always breaking up my fights, so I was always pretty chummy with the linesmen, and they were always pretty good. And a lot of the refs too were good. We're good with guys like that. They respected the way that guys like that we played, like Weise and I, hard-nosed hockey. They had a lot of respect for us. So the things with the linesmen we would get in the fights is when they're throwing guys out, they're not dropping the puck, they're throwing guys out of the circle, or they call like a mysterious, like what can they call? They can call like, I don't know, a missed high stick or something. And we're like, why is the linesman calling a penalty? Then that linesman was getting it. Like he was like, or just kicking guys out of face-off dots all day. Oh man, we let him have it.
So my last question, then I'm going to hand it over to Dale. So we talked about Tim. Who would you say was your favorite referee to have in a game refereeing one of your games?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't. Oh man, I don't know if there was any games, no refs. I don't know. Who do you think? Weise? Who's a good ref? I can't really like a really nice.
Oh man, a really good ref. They're very few and far between to say there's a good one. Wes McCauley gets a lot of publicity. I think he's fair. But he likes to be part of the show too. So.
Oh yeah.
That's.
But he will talk to you. Which is good. That's the only thing you really look for in a ref. Like, just, hey, let's just talk. Like, we can get you. You have those coaches or the coaches and refs, they'll go at each other, but then they have respect for each other right after, right? It's like even yelling at each other as a coach and a player, right? Some coaches feed off that. They like when their players give it back to them. So that's what you look for as in a ref. Hey, I can tell you to fuck off right now, but next period, if we want to have a chat, like, let's have a chat. And those are the good refs that will be honest with you and talk to you.
And I think that happened a lot too. Like, there's so many refs that I would like absolutely lose my mind on over a bad call, and then I'd come back next period. I'd be like, "Sorry, man, that's my fault. I should have. You're right.
Yeah, yeah."
And then they can laugh about it. Like, but then there's some guys that would literally hold a grudge against you, and next game they call a penalty on you or something. You're like, "Well, I know why you called that one, bud." Like, it happened time too, which kind of pissed me off on that front. But there's a couple of good guys. Kyle Raymond was a good guy too. I liked him. I had him actually from my Western League days and the minors and stuff, and we kind of came through the ranks together. So he's another ref that I like too.
Someone just mentioned Chris Lee as well. I don't
know who Chris Lee is, so sorry.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Chris.
Who's
He
Chris
was
Lee?
he was like a Wes McCauley. He was all right. He'd talk to you.
Okay. So this is my thought. And I'm going to give the last question over to Weise, but I want to get you in a couple of weeks to do a part 2 where we can actually interact with fans. Because the stories here are amazing, and I guarantee you. Oh, look at that beauty! That shot right there.
Habs fans like that one.
Oh. And you know what? Weise has told the story about what happened in line during the Boston series as well, with what Lucic said, and we're open to bringing him on to clear the air and have fun and laugh about it. Now it's years later, right? Why not? It's all about positive and having a good vibe. Yeah. But I'd love to get you back on. You are, I can't believe 55 minutes have just gone by. That's insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. And we have lots more stories. We see that for sure.
There's plenty. We, I know we discussed having an after hours show. We need to, in the future, we need an after hours show.
Yeah, you got to sign an NDA.
Rated R show.
Yes. We got plenty of stories for that one.
The next show, I'm just gonna say hello and give it to you, and then come in at the end, right?
I just saw someone me punching Ben Bishop. That was a good.
Tell us about that. Tell us about the feud between you and Ben Bishop. Okay, let's leave on that one. The feud between Brandon Prust and Ben Bishop.
All right. Well, the Ben Bishop. I think it first started when I was in Montreal, and that's that one right there. So he's yapping. He's yapping all game. I can hear him. Like, we're down, and he's just he's so vocal, like yelling at his guys. He's yelling at the ref, like, and it's also because he's a good goalie that I don't like him. Like, we can't score on him. I think we're down 2-1 or 1-0. Like, he had our number, this guy. So I just come down. TV timeout. I just kind of doing my skate, little loosen up, and I just kind of roll down, and he's coming into the corner doing his loosen up, and I just turn on him and I go, "You better shut the fuck up, or I'm gonna run your head right through that post." You should. And he thought I was joking at first, and I'm like, "I will run you right through that fucking end wall. Like, keep it up, keep mouthing." And that's when he knew I was fucking serious, and he turns to me, and he's coming at me, and I remember Don Cherry said I speared him, but I didn't spear him. I had my stick just on my waist like this, and it was kind of pointed at him. And and thank God I had it there, because he skated right up to me to try and crush me with his blocker, and I just held my stick there, and he kind of hit my stick, so he couldn't reach me, and I just turned and hammered him. And then obviously whole melee and the benches start coming over, and I didn't go down there to start a fight with him. I just went down there to tell him to shut the fuck up, because I'm hearing him. I could hear him from the bench. I'd be sitting on the bench, and I could hear him. I'm like, I've never heard the goalie yell or talk this much during the game. Like, so I just went and told him to shut up and try and get his head a bit. And then that kind of continued, because he always had our number. It was hard scoring on him. He was a good goalie. So I remember the one time in Tampa, 3-0. He played the puck a lot. And so I was like, he plays this puck again, I'm going to just crush him. So sure enough, he comes out to play the puck, and, he turns your back, so you're not supposed to hit him like you would, like a player would. You can't really crush him. I just kept going. and then turn around, and I got 4 Tampa Bay guys on me, and my gloves are off. I'm just swinging at whoever.
Oh, man. Okay, we need to do a 3-part series. This is amazing. I love this. You have no idea. Every Hab fan right now is sitting freaking out. They're just like, this is amazing stuff to hear, right?
But that's stuff that, I feel you need. Obviously, maybe I take it overboard a little bit sometimes, but you need to get in the goalie's head. I remember when we were playing the Rangers and we couldn't really score on Hank. I was like, and Hank's one of my best buddies in hockey, but I'm thinking in the night before in my hotel room, like, how am I going to get in under Hank's skin without taking a penalty? Like, and that's when I realized how deep he plays in his net, because I kept going through his crease trying to catch him, like trying to like maybe jab him. Like, there was a clip of him going off TV timeout, going to the bench, and I was on the ice, and I just kind of tried to like bump him, and he was ready for me. He kind of dodged it, but I was just, that's things you do. If a goalie's standing on their head like Ben Bishop did to us all the time, I'm going out there trying to, poke him, get in his head, get him off his game, because fuck you, we want to win.
Yeah. And that's your job at that point, right?
Yeah. You just want to try and do it without taking a penalty. So and sometimes it was 3-0, and I didn't care if I took a penalty.
And Dale's job was the sneaky guy in overtime to get those big goals that no one expected, and that's why they called him the Dutch Gretzky.
Oh yeah. I love playing with Dale. We've loved playing together because we'd even be on the bench just going, all right, we boys need some energy here. Let's go out. There's no puck this shift. Let's go and just crush it. Like just always trying to get the boys going. And yeah, so
man, that's just such a lost art. That was something for me when I came back to Montreal the second time, that it was so different from the team we had. I went back and I was like trying to fire the boys up, and I was like in a morgue, man. Like it was dead silent. I was like, geez, maybe I should shut my mouth here. Like nobody's saying anything.
I was like, when I went to Vancouver, I'm new on the team, and I'm literally the guy talking in the dressing room, and I'm like trying to get the guys going. And I love the guys on the team, like respect the guys and stuff. And the Sedins were great, but I'm like, I'm the new guy here. Why am I trying to get you guys riled up? And I shouldn't be the loudest voice in this dressing room.
I know. I felt that a couple places too. Even in Philly too, it was dead silent. That's what I just loved about our team in Montreal. Like, me and Prusty were really, really loud guys, but we had a couple like, man, Josh Georges would have his little lines he would always say. And they were hilarious too, because he would say the exact same thing all the time.
Yeah. But Georgie just loved getting the boys going. Like, he was great in the dressing room, and he got the boys pumped. And then he would show it out on the ice. He would dive in front of shots with his face, and you're like, fuck, why wouldn't I listen to that guy? He's ready to go. Like,
he was another guy that they
my example of there. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah, and he was a guy that I thought they kind of let go of a little too early too. I don't know if he was, he was declining, I think, a little bit. I don't know how old he was when he left there, but I think he was another key part of that team that they let go a little too early.
Oh, everybody loved Josh Georges.
And he had a lot of injuries too, right? That guy was always battling through injuries. So,
Okay, so before we go, we have someone on hold. We decided not to take. We have a ton of people that wanted to get on the show tonight to talk to you.
Okay.
But I don't want to miss these stories. This is the problem. We do a 1-hour show with Prusty. We can't.
We're gonna need a couple parts, man. I thought we could try to squeeze half an hour in, but
I'm good if you guys want to do another one in a few weeks. So
okay, awesome. Well, why don't we go to Blaine first, because he's been holding for a while. We'll get him in, and then after that we'll say our goodbyes. So let's add Blaine into the stream over here. Blaine, welcome to Habs Tonight.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. Hey, you left me on red on Reddit, by the way. You gotta write back. You sent me a message.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Other housekeeping. Has another guest sworn on the air yet? Like another fan?
No.
No, okay. On behalf of the rest of the Habs fans, fuck Chris Lee. All
right, buddy. There you go. Good start.
Thanks for the photo at the Junos. Anyways, here's the question I had. Hockey insiders. We always hear about leaks in the room, or supposed leaks coming from the room. And usually you boys will say, fuck that guy, whatever. How do those relationships get started? Do you guys know who's leaking to whom? And how do you feel when people are talking inside the room and sharing it out?
Well, you don't. I never saw it that often, but I did see it once.
Say it.
Well, I saw Sean Avery fucking Abe's telling Brooksy about an injury. So I'm like in the dressing room, and I see Brooksy and Abe's, and then Abe's goes into the training medical room. He pokes his head in the medical room, kind of asks something. I bet you a guy was kind of questionable for the evening, and Abe's just comes out and he goes to Brooksy. No. And I'm like, he just walks. What? Comes out and goes to Brooksy So he had obviously a little thing going on. Brooksy, don't write any bad articles about me.
Oh my
stuff God. About me, and I'll give you some shit on the inside. That was the first time I was blown away. I'm like, that was the only time I saw or heard of anybody leaking any.
Yeah, like man, you can watch the hockey insiders come in the room, and they just stand behind the media and talk to the media because none of the players want to talk to them.
There are guys I know with guys. You get texts from guys on the hockey insiders looking for something, and it's like I'm sure there are guys that would give it, but no, they wouldn't tell anybody that they're giving any information because it's all through text. Right now, everybody has their phone numbers, right? And once those hockey guys, on TSN or whatever, once they have your number and there's stuff going on amongst your team, they're going to try. They're going to try and send out a text. And you would hope that – I know I would never give any info, but I'm sure there are guys.
You just looking for the guys that are looking down and typing away on their phone, like.
Yeah, it would be more. I don't know who's giving it to them, but scouts, management, stuff like that. I think they would be more. I think they would be more a little suspect, spilling the beans than the players.
Really? I've always wondered what happens if you caught a fellow teammate recording. It's so easy just to hit a button and hit record, and he hits record, and here's the whole conversation of what's going on during something that's hidden and private. Obviously,
you'd probably sucker a guy if that happened. That would never happen.
No,
or has it happened and you just don't know yet?
No, there's no way boys would do that. There's no way. Like, there's so many unwritten things you wouldn't do. There's no way someone would be recording. I could see someone screwing around if it's just the boys, and then it would be like thrown on a team chat, and then that would be kind of a funny thing, but never released.
I hated guys even having their phone in the dressing room. When you come in, put your phone when you take your suit off, leave your phone in there. If you want to go check your phone at one point, like whatever, but bringing your phone in the dressing room, I thought was just so ridiculous. I don't know if they do now, but because I've seen guys on their phone when the cameras are in before games, I've seen guys have their phone, and guys will make the excuse. I remember PK would say like, "Oh, my music's on here," and I'm like, "You're so fucking full of shit. This is how you play your music?"
He's searching for a song.
Yeah. So I mean, I never really liked guys. Even if guy had his phone in his hand or was texting in the dressing room, I'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, put your phone. We're trying to get ready. Obviously, practice. Don't really care, but
yeah."
Thanks for having me on, boys.
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Hey, thanks, Blaine. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, bud.
I mean, you'd also think there's got to be. I mean, obviously, there's some sort of code between everybody, brothers in arms, who's playing on the same team. But you got to think at the end of the day, like if you trust somebody who's a family member or a good friend, be like, "Oh yeah, this is going on." That person's never going to say anything, right? The so-called leaks are, I don't know. I mean, it's where do they get their leaks? I think personally, probably from the guys. It's probably someone from the organization who's kind of leaking stuff out, just because it makes more sense. When you look at it, like a hockey team is usually owned by a large corporation who is also is part of ownership of a media corporation as well. What's good for one is good for the other. Just makes a little bit of sense, right? So
it's hard to say. You definitely don't want any leaks happening from in the dressing room. That's for sure. It's kind of in the hockey world. There's a code to a lot of things. So you still hope the guys are respecting that code.
Gotcha. Okay, so before we let you go, what are your thoughts so far with two things? With COVID, with the situation right now? I mean, obviously, Dale and I haven't been able to touch on it, but I think all three of us can say we just want to make sure everybody's healthy. That's number one with the family and everybody on the team. Most important thing anybody should be thinking about, be healthy. Games are games, players are players, but we have lives and stuff like that you got to deal with, and the family and so on. And then second, thoughts on the current 2021 Montreal Canadiens. The worst decision they did was obviously not re-up with Dale. I think that's really hurt them personally, but I think it's helped Habs Tonight and our relationship, which is good. So we wouldn't be doing this if not for that. So what are your thoughts overall about the current rendition of the Montreal Canadiens?
I think I've watched a few games, and they do have some tenacity in their game, and I think they're obviously there's lots they have to work on. I think for the most part, with Montreal, you got Carey Price, arguably one of the best goalies in the world. He's only as good as the guys in front of him are playing. So one of the big things when we were in Montreal was making sure Price is going to make that first save. Make sure he doesn't have to make that second and third diving save. Let's try and limit that. So I think this team, they have to take care of their end first. Don't try and win games, 5-4, 6-5, whatever. They should be literally just taking care of that own end and then go from there. I think that's kind of the success that we had. Pricer was the best goalie in the league at that time because, we were blocking shots. When shots got through, we made sure we were getting that rebound or the guy going for the rebound. So they got to limit those second and third opportunities, and then turnovers. I watched some games and hey, when you see some of the turnovers or guys not getting the puck out, you're like, oh my God, I would be riding the pine after that play. And I don't know how much that accountability is still in the league because you see it a lot more, right? It's more run and gun, so you're going to have more turnovers, but those turnovers are going to kill you. You turn over the puck and guys coming down 2-on-1 4 times a game, or just, it's not going to work out for you. So I think that's huge for them. I think their offense is good. They got some great young talent. I think they do have, a bright future. So, but they just got to really learn to protect their own end first, and then that offense will come from that.
Love it. See, we end this segment on a positive. I love that. I mean, all Habs fans really love that. So, Dale, I'll leave you with the last question, but before that, we are definitely going to have a part 2 show where it's going to be you completely interacting with all the fans. We'll book that. We'll mark it up on Twitter and all of our social medias. If you're watching this show right now and you've enjoyed Prusty and Brandon Prust talking with these amazing stories with Weise, make sure that you do one thing. You hit subscribe and you give a thumbs up. Make sure you have a thumbs up on all of the videos. Show us that you care about it, because this is some really good stuff. I will. There's someone else in the chat who wants to talk to you. I'm like, do we take the question? I don't know. Weise, this is up to you at this point. It's your call.
Can we bring on one more fan, Prusty? Let's bring on one more. All right, bring him on. Last one.
Randy, welcome.
Randy.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Randy?
Rusty, I want to ask, as well as we see, the refs, I was wondering, do they give you misconducts for any, when you bruise their egos? Is that why they give you the misconducts?
Yeah, they definitely don't like being put in their place or talked down to, for sure. It definitely, being a ref, you need to have a bit of an ego, for sure. So they don't like when it's bruised, for sure. But as players, we don't like it being bruised either. So I think that's where the bat hitting of the heads comes in there, and it never ends up well for the player.
Okay. As well as for the current Habs edition, I was wondering, not in so technical form, I was wondering if you could explain when they say going from coaching staff from Donald Ducharme to from Julien to Donald Ducharme. From your experience, whether it was Tortorella to Therrien, what did they mean by the styles? Like a dump and chase, or what did they mean?
Yeah, I think for that style, maybe not so run and gun, maybe more defense oriented. I know Therrien and Torts were pretty similar, and where it was take care of your own end and not necessarily dump and chase. They do want you to make plays, but if there is no play there, then you're gonna grind that team. You're gonna grind that team down. So there's different styles that way. Where I know in Tampa, Bouchard was he's run and gun. Like, he didn't want his players to dump the puck in. I remember talking to Brian Boyle, and he's like, he gets mad at us when we dump the puck in. He wants us to keep the puck and try. I'm like, what? Like, we've never heard that in our whole career. But that's different styles of different coaches. So I would never. Yeah, it's there's coaches with more defense oriented styles and play safe, and then there's some that depending maybe with their team, if they got a high octane offense, then they're gonna say, "Hey, boys, let's take off." Like, I remember in New York with Torts, I did not leave the defensive zone until the puck went. So even if the puck came up the boards, I was not taking off. I was not taking off. I was not leaving that blue line, passing that blue line until the puck was for sure out. Like it doesn't create too much offense, that's for sure, but you definitely don't get caught.
Randy, thank you so much for coming on the show. We're going to cut you short here, but the next time Brandon's on, we'll get you on the show. We appreciate that very, very, very much. Okay, last word from Weise over to Prusty, and then Weise, you and I could talk for a few minutes live on the show about a couple of subjects, and then we're going to hand it off to our other colleagues at Overtime.
Yeah, no, I got no more questions for you, Prusty. We really appreciate it, buddy. This was huge. I know you were definitely one guy that I wanted to get on. I know everybody's enjoying it. Man, just one of the funniest guys I've ever played with. Maybe give the shout out to what you're doing in London, if we got any London viewers, and we can close with that.
Well, when I retired, I started working Navigator Financial. They took care of my finances when I played, and so I've been working with them for a couple years now. And me and my buddy have been opening up a pizza and chicken place called DOUGHBOYS here in London, and we're hoping to get one up in Montreal eventually in a few years. But we want to open about 3 or 4 here, and it's been pretty crazy. Crazy busy. Obviously, even with COVID stuff, something like that is, kind of an easier thing to run. It's not really a restaurant; it's just takeout. So it's come and get your food and get the heck out.
It's a crazy world we live in right now. So we're living proof, man. The Habs should be playing tonight, but instead. We're Brandon Prust, Dale Weise on Habs Tonight. I love this. This is awesome. Oh, there you go. We got the logo up there.
There it is. Yes.
Like how we just put it right in the middle. We just got to make sure it's the right logo.
I love it. And then hopefully out golfing here and soon. I had shoulder surgery again about 8 weeks ago, 7-8 weeks ago. So that was my 3rd shoulder surgery. So should be ready to get on the golf course again in a couple more weeks.
Nice. Got a few people posting comments about the pizza joint, saying it's on fire. It's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. I see a couple London fans here. Make sure you go check it out.
Where in London is DOUGHBOYS? That's what Mike D wants to know. Well, there's one down kind of by the Western Fair, and then there's mine is out West London, just past the Hun Club. If you're from London, you'll know where that is. So West London. There you go. Perfect. Well, Prusty, thank you so much. We're going to get you on in a couple of weeks, and we're going to do a lot more where the whole show is going to be you chit-chatting with fans who have questions and telling more stories. This has been awesome.
That's huge.
There's one comment that someone posted in there saying, I came for 5 minutes, but I stayed the hour. I love it. That is just golden. Love that. And our largest live audience so far, and I can't wait to see the stats on this show. So thank you so much. We really, really appreciate it. All right, boys. Hope you guys are well. Thanks for having me. Thank you very much. You too.
Cheers, buddy.
Brandon Prust, Dale Weise's most amazing, famous, and funny teammate. Wow, you guys must have had a hoot on the bench, man.
Oh man, I used to get so jacked up playing with him. Like I loved playing with him. Every time like I got he came down to my line or I came up or I knew we were playing together, we just had so much fun because we were just two guys that really embraced the day. We just loved playing. We loved being at the rink. We loved just joking around the room, getting the boys going. Like, man, it was just when you have someone else on the team doing it, like, like he said there, like, I came back to the second round with Montreal and it was like, I was the only one talking. I was like a new guy on the team and I'm like, what happened here? Like we had the loudest bench of probably any team in the NHL. And, we had guys that barely would talk and me and Prusty would get going and then everybody would jump on board and we would just, you just kept that life on the bench. And that was one of the key parts why I think our team was really, really special.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you guys had a lot of fun. You had a raw type of everybody's getting into it. I think anybody who's played hockey knows you need to have that little bit of a firecracker, someone that lightens the mood, everybody's relaxed and having a good time on the bench, right? So,
we had such a good mix. We had such a good mix of that where, guys like Prusty and me and Subi were kind of like loud and funny and just kind of brought the energy up. And then you had your quiet guys that, even Gio in 2014 there, he was the captain when he spoke and everybody paid attention and listened, but he's more of a quiet guy. And we just had such a good mix of guys there.
This was the show we should have had our disclaimer on. I'm just a lot of fun stories with lots of good. Hey, we can swear. It's online. It's YouTube. That's okay. Just hopefully
we don't want to. We don't want to censor.
Audience.
We don't want to censor anybody. We want people to come on. That's the show that we want. We want people to come on, feel comfortable, and you say what you want and tell the real stories. That's what people want to see.
Yeah. And our biggest crowd. So why don't we do this? Let's get into the topics over here before we let everybody go. I know we're about 18 minutes over time, but I just want to get into this with you. We talked about Tim Peel. So from my standpoint, they need to have integrity in the game. It was the right decision for them to do what they did. But I think most hockey fans know this is the standard way of how refs do their job. So how do you really fix the problem moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like you said, this is something that's been going on forever. I think everybody understands that it's been happening. But how do you go about fixing it? I think if a ref had to stand in front of the media after and ask a question, I think he's going to think twice about making a call because you're being held accountable. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but I'm telling you that's how you hold someone accountable. If I come to you after a game and you made a bad call, you're going to have to sit there and answer for it. Your face is going to be on TV. Your family's going to see it tomorrow. Everybody's going to ask you about it. You're going to think twice about the things you do out there. And I think that changes things. As a professional athlete, you're held accountable for everything you do on Twitter, on social media, out in public. You're held accountable to a different standard. And I feel the refs should be there too.
Yeah. And what we talked about it before the show, no other sport league has actually done where, the refs go out to the media and they do that. But then again, I can't think of another incident where you actually on a hot mic caught a referee saying what he did. Imagine if a referee in the NFL had his button turned on and it was like the Super Bowl and he said, "Don't worry, I'm going to give them a flag next time so Brady can get up." Just imagine that, right? Does this change everything? We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this incident is going to hold a lot of refs accountable now because everybody's going to be watching them now. Like there's a new standard now, and I think that's great that this happened. It's unfortunate that it had to happen to a guy that's been there, and had that kind of career. But you make a move like that, man, and I can't argue for you. I am always trying to see the best in things, and I always want to put a spin on it. But it's just you can't argue that one. You got caught, and you just can't go back on it, and it's really unfortunate because to me, I've been on the other end where, okay, now that's a horrible call. I don't know why you're making that call. I'm in the box. They score on the power play and I'm out of the lineup next game because you made that call. You wanted to decide even, and now you're screwing with my livelihood. You're screwing with my career because you wanted to make a call. And that's where, when I saw that today, man, that really pissed me off because I don't care if I think it's happening now that like you admitted to it. It's just, I don't know. It just burns me even more.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know what they're going to do. This is going to be one of those. I don't know what they're going to do because someone just posted a really great comment saying he got caught saying what everybody already knows. And
right.
I don't know who posted that comment, but it was like, that's the perfect. Jeff. Yeah, Jeff. That's
Jeff.
Yeah.
It's right. It's right.
He
and
just
it's
got
like,
caught saying what everybody knows happens anyways. That is. How do you fix that?
It's so bad. It's so bad. But I think, like I said, now everybody's going to be watching them. And any bad call now is going to be like really dissected. And I think, for the game going forward, it's probably for the best.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Last but not least, COVID. It strikes the Montreal Canadiens. We know of two players. I hate to be the guy everybody knows who these two players are, Armia as well as Kakanyemi. Obviously they tested. We had the post game show, and Brandon was on as well as Anik, and we basically said something's fishy because 15 minutes before the game starts, that to happen where they cancel the game, it hasn't been done like that where it's so close that we both believe okay, someone's positive, and they want to make sure everybody's okay. And from what I've read so far today, the situation is, because COVID is such a nasty bug where it could take 3 or 4 days for you actually to test positive for it, they need this gap to make sure 4 or 5 days in, they're going to test these players 2 to 3 times a day. And the whole hope is, what happens if someone else tests positive tomorrow? Then you're looking at a team can't play for 2 weeks. I mean, so we're keeping our fingers crossed, first and foremost, that everybody's healthy, because remember, these guys, they go home to their friends, they go home to their family. They it's not just, oh yeah, he's an athlete, he's in great shape. No, they have a lot of people that they get in touch with all the time. They may have elderly relatives. You just don't know. And you've played with both of these gentlemen, and we want to make sure that their families are safe and healthy, and they're okay, right? Because this is a nasty bug, man. Like, no one wants this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously pretty serious. Look at all the lives that we've lost to this. So, you obviously hope for the best for the players and their immediate family. And, I think as you look at the big picture of things, this is kind of more about life than about hockey. And I think, people are putting a little too much stock in, okay, the team can't play for a week. And I kind of think of the personal standpoint where people miss that a lot, where, these are human beings. There's no long-term data on what this does to you. So, you hope obviously everyone comes out of this on the other way, and hopefully their family is okay. And that's all that really matters.
Yeah. And I kind of feel, and I don't know how this makes you feel either, I kind of feel ashamed that there's a list out there that the public gets to know these are the two players. I don't know why the NHL did that. Why can't they just say, hey, there's 2 members of this team that are on protocol, rather than listing the names? To me, that is something I cringe when I have to mention their names, because it's not my business. And
but if they missed the game, you would know why they missed it anyways. Like, you could assume it's an injury, but if they're out for a week and magically they come back and they're,
in this situation where they're shutting everything down, there'd be no need to single out 2 players, right?
Right. But I don't think they knew they had to shut it down. I think, they were like, okay, these 2 players can't play, but I think they can play. And then I think, they made the assumption, okay, we need to shut down the whole team now. So I don't know what the exact protocol was on that. Like, were they around the team this morning? So obviously, you need the week off or what it was. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what kind of testing they're doing now, because I know in the summer we did some really intense testing in Montreal when we had training camp, and then we got to the bubble. It got really, really slack. So I'm interested to see what kind of testing they're doing now.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting topic. And I want to address one thing before we wrap up the show and get over to the overtime program, where I believe it's going to be we're going to have Drew Deeks. We're also going to have James Black on the show. James or Drew, one of them will pop up on the screen in a few minutes to tell us what the plan is. And it won't be on this actual broadcast. It'll be on another one on our channel, but we'll talk about that in a couple of seconds. So this Saturday, we're going to have a special show. And it's with Don Cherry, former host of Coach's Corner, who I grew up watching as a Habs fan, living in Montreal. And I want to preface that. Born and raised in Quebec, lived there for 23 years of my life. The greatest city in the world, by far. I love Montreal. I am excited because Don Cherry represents to me a man who is iconic in the world of hockey. And remember one thing, the Montreal Canadiens are in that world of hockey. So it's in a bubble, so to speak. Now, I know people in the past have, they either like Don or they don't, and that's fine. We absolutely respect that, and that's up to you. If you don't want to watch the show on Saturday, that's okay. That's fine. We just want to have Don on to be able to talk hockey, but also to really engage on his memories and history with the Montreal Canadiens. You're talking about the coach who coached against Robinson, Lafleur. I mean, some of these most amazing and talented individuals, a guy who actually watched Morris the Rocket Richard. I want to hear from that perspective of someone who may have not, I just want to hear from that perspective what it was like. We're all Hab fans. We're all Hab nations, but I don't know what it was like watching those guys or playing against those guys. He does. And that's going to be a really interesting perspective for me as a fan. And I hope people tune in, because it's going to be a hockey show, and we're going to be as positive as we always are. And that's, that's just all I want to say on that end. And everybody has the right to their opinion. And that's the beautiful thing about the way we are. Have the right to your opinion. If you don't want to watch the show, then don't. I mean, we're not going to be upset. We're really looking forward to this. And I know Dale and I both were so excited because, like I said, we both grew up watching this guy. And it brings a smile to our face. And if it doesn't bring a smile to your face, we apologize. You just don't have to watch that show. Come on for the following program. And Dale, if you have any, obviously, if you want to throw in a couple of cents on that one.
Oh, I'm just excited. I'm excited. Man, my favorite Christmas present growing up as a kid was getting Rock'em Sock'em movies for Christmas. Like growing up every Saturday night with my dad and my family, and my brother watching Don Cherry. And then finally my first NHL game, I get a chance, to be on Hockey Night in Canada, and he does a segment on me. Like that was a dream come true for a Canadian kid. So man, I cannot wait to talk to him. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear his stories talking about Guy Lafleur and having to coach his team against a guy like Lafleur and that 70s team. I mean, to me, that is going to be a conversation that I don't think a lot of people have really dived into from a Habs perspective, and it's going to be really, really, really neat, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so maybe we can get Drew up on the screen if we can, Mr. James Black. That would be great. Hey, there's Drew Deeks. How are you, buddy?
Deeksy!
He's on mute.
He muted himself. All right, Deeksy. No
he
big
muted
deal.
himself. There you go. He's
beautiful.
unmuting him as we. There you go.
Hey, there we go.
How are you, buddy?
I'm here. How we doing?
We're doing good. So what's the
Great,
plan?
buddy.
We're gonna go into overtime. We've got over 250 people watching the show right now live. We don't want to lose momentum. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And just to mention, we've got another big guest that we're going to reveal on Saturday night for next week. Actually, no, we may reveal it tomorrow. I don't know. Weise and I will talk about it, but it's a Stanley Cup champion, a World's Junior champion, 2-time Olympics champion. A Norris winner, that'll give it a little hint of away, as well as an MVP. They don't get any, bigger than this unless, we get Carey Price on the show. So I'm looking forward to this one because the topic of that program is going to be media. We are going to talk about the media. We're going to have a lot of fun on that show. It's going to be great. And, Weise and I always joke about the media. This guest, he's taking it to a very
He's number one.
Cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. So, Drew, what is the plan for when Habs Tonight ends right now on Weise Wednesdays? Tell us what's going to happen.
Yeah, we're bringing James Black on, producer James, who, for those that don't know, runs everything behind the scenes. He does an unbelievable job. So hats off to James. And we might have a couple other people join in. I'm not sure if Anik's going to jump on, or Alyssa was talking some Crosby and Penguins or something like that. Hard to top Prusty, though. Like, what a show tonight. You guys hit it out of the park, man. Hard to top Prusty.
As soon as he started going off on Tim Peel, I'm like, okay, we didn't say it. He had his opinions, right? They are. I cannot wait. This is one of the first things we're going to do is get those clips up because Prusty's opinions on Tim Peel. Wow,
man, he tells it like it is. That's what I love about Prusty.
I love it.
He just tells it like it is. Like that's all you could ask for a teammate. Like, and even when he talks about his coaching there, me and him are so similar. We he kind of had his career in New York like I had in Montreal, and we were kind of on the same projection. And man, he's just so funny, and he doesn't work in hockey. I don't think he has any plans to work in hockey, so he just tells it like it is, and I love that. He's not afraid to say what he wants.
That was honestly, that's our highest rated live program. I mean, still over 230 people on live chat right now watching the show. Wow. I mean, that was amazing. And if you have not watched, wait till you watch the replay. We're going to push it out there because what he says is so eye-opening and it's honest, authentic. I love it. It reminds me of a Dale Weise turned up by like 10 degrees, right? So I've seen you with a couple of Stellas. I know where you get on the number 3. He's at a number 10 just to start off with, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
he did mention a guy that will get me to a number 10 when we do talk about him. So.
Oh yes, that is a show we are.
I saw that in Weise's eyes. Oh, he was.
The fire when he said that. I'm like, I'm so not surprised.
Oh yeah,
bite your tongue almost.
That show we are going to include multiple players in the National Hockey League coming on, telling their stories, as well as a children's psychiatrist, because they may understand the mindset of a child at that point. Yeah. And I'm not kidding, by the way. We are really going to dive deep into what the problem is with that individual. So that's going to be one for the ages. It's going to be a lot of fun. James.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Drew. Sorry. I
was just going to say, I know, and Nick and I or a few of us were talking kind of before the show about revealing who that next guest is going to be. I actually have to admit, I have that player's jersey in my lap right now, so it's totally up to you guys. But if you want to reveal who that Norris Trophy Stanley Cup Olympian, it's up to you guys. It's not my turn to take the glory. I do have the jersey on hand. I'll hold on to it if you want, but it's here.
It's up to Weise. I'll say this: as long as Anik can post it out with the picture
no pressure
afterwards, then that's it.
As long as
Weise's call.
I'm seeing a couple guesses here on the side, and I think we had 2 people here who are correct, or do I have 3? 1, 2. We have 3. So
I don't want to put you on the spot there, Weise, but
hey, I'm not for. I got my foot in my mouth now. It doesn't happen very often, but man, it's. I think you should get people excited. He's
okay.
Oh man, I when you say the number one guy that handles media, gives it back to them, and has owned the media, it's easy to see who that guy is.
All right, let's just reveal it. No more surprises. Here it is.
Oh,
Chris Pronger joining the show next week. That is going to be...
and Anik nailed it too.
Oh,
wow.
All part of the plan, right, guys?
Wow. Shout out to everybody in the back.
Live. Yeah, you guys are amazing. Everybody here is amazing. So Pronger is going to be live on Wednesday, talking media with Weise. Also talking about the captaincy, because he went from being the captain, then it went to Giroux, and then that's who you had your captain. So there's a lot of things that come together on this. And
absolutely.
And then as well, tomorrow, Thomas Plekanec, we are working with him tomorrow. We are doing an interview with him. We're going to let those videos out during the week as well. You're talking Habs content and hockey content. This is your fix. The next few days and the next few weeks, it's going to be mind-blowing. Like, it's going to – hey, is that your bum?
That is my mom. What's up, Mom? How are you?
Awesome. She's
we used to love watching Pronger. Just give it to the media. It's man, the Weise family loves Chris Pronger. Believe me.
I always thought your mom's name was Barb, and I had no idea. You seem like you have a mom.
She's a fan.
Barb.
She's a fan. Look at
awesome. That's so
love
cool.
the interaction.
I love it. We should get her on the show one day and talk about you. As,
you know what? I don't think my mom and dad would come on. They'd be way too nervous. I think. I know. I asked my dad. He's like, no way. I know my mom was on. It might have been Hockey in Canada one night where they were like, it was a mom's trip, and she was up in the. They had like a booth for the moms, and it was in Boston. I got in a fight in them, and they put my mom on after. It was pretty funny. She did pretty good. So we'll see if I can convince her. She'd have some good stories.
Oh, what's this? You guys might have to come up with your own alcohol. Going to be competing with Chicklets soon. Well, those guys are doing great. So good for them.
That's
to be even put in that category. Thank you.
That's a lofty comparison there. Wow.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
What trying to think. You can call it Blue Weise. Well, that's actually not a bad name, eh? Blue Weise. It's like you're going on a date. You're going on a date. I need some Blue Weise before we go out. Barbara's like, no, make Aaron stop.
Just stop it.
You're like, my mom's watching. Stop it, Aaron.
That's why I keep it at a 3,
Oh, Weise whiskey. Look at that.
Again, the team in the back. What a team we have here, guys. Unbelievable.
Anik is a gold mine. How did we find her? She is just a gift. I tell you what, like everyone's amazing on this team, but
we'll tell you the true story. We accidentally. Anyways, we'll tell you. Maybe Anik is amazing. We are so lucky to have her on the team as well. It's not just her; it's her whole family, her dad, everybody.
Yeah, Dan is on. Where is Dan? Is Dan still on? Or Dan go to bed?
Dan's behind her all the time.
Where's
he's
Dan?
sleeping. Yeah,
Dan's sleeping.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. Okay, sorry guys. So, James and Drew, tell us about the show. How people can watch it right after this. It's overtime with Habs Tonight.
Well, if it's okay with you, I think we'll just stick on the channel for 10 minutes. We just want to we have a few community announcements we want to make. We do want to talk about the Mighty Ducks for a minute. Okay, if you'll allow us to just sit in on that for a second.
That's the other jersey I got in my lap, by the way.
You actually? Oh, no ugly. Way.
Yeah.
But what player is on the back is going to be a guess for the viewers that are still watching. If you want, I will say that it wasn't a Mighty Ducks player, but he did make an appearance in D3. So, and he was an NHLer. It's a pretty obvious one because there was only one.
Madonna.
Madonna.
No, Madonna. He was in the.
Oh, Madonna.
He was
in number one. Madonna was in number one.
Oh, okay, you are right.
NHLer in D3.
Yeah, he did color commentary as a guest appearance in D3.
Why can I not think of this right now? This is crazy.
Well, D3 is the least popular of the series, but
I love that
like
one.
I said to Brand, I know it's got a lot of heart.
Korea?
Like,
Oh, so good.
oh, he guessed it.
Oh, it
Why
was
did I
Paul
say-
Korea.
It was
Yes.
someone posted it up
Yes.
on the screen. I lied.
Oh man,
They guessed it, not
the color
me.
commentator guy that calls the games, like not Paul Korea, the other guy, I think was incredible. He was great.
Oh, perfect casting. Yeah.
He was so good.
Arguably the most realistic aspect of the entire trilogy was the color commentating.
Yeah, he was great.
What do you mean? The flying V is realistic? Come on, James. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
So why don't
we'll
this-
have to do-
I'll bow out right now, and you boys can chit chat for another 10 minutes, and then we keep it going over here. And then I can't wait to start putting out that stuff where Brandon Prusty talks about today's two trending people. Number one is Dale Weise, who is trending in Canada, and number two
No big deal. No big
is
deal.
big
Tim
deal.
Peel, who is trending in Canada. So we've got some comments going on those two
Oh,
folks,
so
which I
good.
really like.
So good, guys.
Perfect.
Love it. I'll bow out. You
Killer
guys,
show, you guys. Seriously.
amazing show tonight. We're sticking on live, so it's just me leaving right now.
All right.
Jive, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Have a great night, everybody.
You killed it, Aaron. Good job hosting tonight.
Thanks, Aaron.
Yeah, you're
We
okay.
said,
Aaron.
I know you got to go in a sec too, but
He's all right. You know what, Aaron? I really can't stick.
Hit me with it, James. What do you got, buddy?
well, you seemed excited about Mighty Ducks, and look, part of what I want to bring to the table here is some levity. There's some serious stuff we discussed tonight. We had, corrupt refereeing and some intense
yeah.
coaching and whatnot. And there's Brandon Legacy.
Oh, what up, Brandon?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Yeah, Lego drop it in.
That was a busy chat for that episode. Wow.
Yeah, you were
was.
killing it, buddy.
Brandon, you have so many nicknames already. Like
Brandon, we're
I don't
still
know.
live. Just so you know, we're still live. So you got to be able to talk Ducks
Yeah.
if you're going to hang here. But
I'm a big
I wanted to
Banksy
ask
guy.
Dale, because you got excited. I know your vintage was you're probably pretty young when the Ducks movies came out, but just tell me what those mean to you. Because I feel like with the new Mighty Ducks Game Changer series coming out, not that we're sponsored by Disney or anything.
Not yet.
No, we know that everyone loves the Ducks.
In the works.
But why do you love the Ducks? Why do you love the Mighty Ducks?
Man, it was like Don Cherry for me. Like that was the only movies that I watched. Me and my brother would watch that every single day, and then I would like go out and rollerblade on the street and try to be just like them. Like
Yep.
it was like, man, it was the only like thing that I watched as a kid, and like I don't feel in the last like 15 years they've done any hockey shows that really can relate to what the Ducks did. Where I honestly can't think of one.
I want to talk about that actually in a minute, but
yeah,
you're-
there was everything for me. It was all I watched. I literally all day long. I would just put it on repeat. And like my brother would be like, "Can we watch something else?" I'm like, "No, I want to watch the Ducks, man. This is incredible."
What about you, Brandon? What was your experience with the Ducks?
I think it was because it was almost around the same age, kind of, and just like the Bash Brothers, and you had Banksy coming, and then Conway, like everybody in House League or any kind of minor hockey was. When he gets the C slapped on his chest in that movie, you're just like, oh my god, fires you up.
There's so many good moments, right? Like, what the triple deke? Like,
Yeah.
Then
The
he
three
learns to
stick
play.
handles.
He learns to play defense. Like, oh man, that's
Knuckle
just,
puck.
That's gold. The
Picking
knuckle
up
puck.
trash.
Yeah, they're skipping school, and they're like, what? Just not that I promote skipping school, but you know what I mean.
To play
folks.
hockey on this show, I think we can make it permissible. So,
Yeah.
and Drew, what about you, man? What's your Ducks dynasty? What's your experience with the show?
Well, like Brandon just said, like D3 is so underrated. And I think as you kind of grow as a person and like you discover, it sounds funny, but like your emotions and stuff. And like that scene with Gordon Bombay and Charlie Conway when he tells him like, you were the real Minnesota Miracle Man, not me. I'm like,
Oh man.
my gosh. Like I was losing it as I got older and rewatched it, man. Like, holy cow. That,
What a moment that was.
No.
No, well, dude, I get chills when you say that. Like, you're the real Minnesota Miracle, man. Like that. Oh, man, I got so fired up watching that. Because he just finally, like, he got such an appreciation for the coach. And he's like, okay, I understand it. Like, it's so good.
He had a different view of Coach O'Ryan after that. I was just like, okay, I get it now. And he showed him with his daughter skating in the wheelchair. And it's just like,
He gave up
thought
his
he was
career,
a pro.
like, yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was a pro that couldn't hack it. And it was like, no, he was trying to teach him. It was a different coach, right? He needed that. Like,
Right.
Charlie Cox, his character needed that. It was too comfortable, so they broke him out of the mold. But man, number one, I just rewatched all three like before we started this gig, so it's funny timing. But yeah, number two has to probably be the one I've watched the most. Just when they brought in everyone from all over the States, like Luis Mendoza, who can't stop. Like
amazing, some very questionable racial stereotyping in that movie.
Yeah. Which went undetected back then, though. Like we didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy to me.
Yeah, but like the Bash Brothers, of course, and like just seeing them in their dorms, like rocking out, like just
how about when they bring the Bash Brother back in D3? Let's see what you got, Bash Brother, and the guy takes a run at him.
Yeah,
what? And he just bends over and flips him in the glass. Like, are you kidding me?
Oh, there's so many moments. Yeah, like, all three of them really have their specialties, but I think D2 is probably the best. Number one is the original. Like when you kind of go back and rewatch number one, you appreciate it more. But this new series that's coming out on Disney, what I was thinking was like, which Ducks are going to come back first and be the first to make a cameo? Like, I don't have Disney Plus yet. I might have to get it to watch it. But which Ducks do you guys want to see make an appearance?
I think it's out, and I don't think Charlie makes a comeback. I know Josh through a friend, and I don't know if he made it back to the series, but.
Yeah, they were talking about D4, and he doesn't. I don't know if he's.
Yeah, I mean, he moved on to do other things. He's got a production company, and he's just got had a kid, and I think he's a little beyond this. But there's
so
certainly
Josh,
people...
you got to get in there. Come on, Jamesy. Producer James, get in there.
Yeah, get in there.
But there are some people who I like to see. I would like to see the goalie Goldberg come back. He's had a bit of a meth problem off the field.
He's had a tough go.
No way. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had a real.
He's bouncing back though, I think now, which is good.
He is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're pulling.
Yeah, there's some rough pictures of him, but
we're pulling for Goldberg. But yeah, I mean, there's a legacy that's been left behind, which I find interesting with Ducks is that, these movies again. I'm 38 years old. These were like in my prime, watching them, and then I'm trying to watch them now with my 6-year-old. And they said, screw it, maybe just bring back the whole series and do something new with it because. I think it's hard to go back to some of those movies and try to explain that Iceland is not a hockey superpower, or that it's kind of racist to have like
Coach
Trinidad
Stanton,
and like
Wolf of Stanton.
Yeah, Gunnar Stahl.
Gunnar Stahl with the fakest accent of all time. And then he's in number 3. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's the goalie in D3. Like, oh okay.
Yeah, there
Why
he
not?
is.
I mean, yeah, whatever. So we'll see. But Emilio Estevez, I did make this mistake the other day because we were talking about the best hockey movies, and I don't know how many hockey movies there are. It's like 5 or 6, like ever.
Yeah.
And I said Young Guns, and it was actually Young Blood, right?
Oh, what a movie! Oh, I love Young Blood. My son loves Young Blood. I gotta like fast forward through the one part there, but he loves it. He thought it was the coolest movie.
So you got Young Blood, you got Goon 1 and 2.
Oh, Goon! Okay. I always forget about Goon too.
We got to get Barishaw on the show. He's a huge Habs fan.
A great guy, man. He would for sure too.
Oh yeah, he would love to come on.
He was in the dressing room like when we did commercials and stuff, man. He was unreal guy. That's a really good point. We got to get him on.
Yeah.
Shout out Jay Barishaw if you're watching.
Oh, he's got to. Yeah, Jay's got to come on for sure.
Yeah, great dude.
Get a DM right after the show. He's coming. Yeah, he's watching. Come on. I hope so.
Come on.
And then we got the Ducks trilogy, which to my understanding is the only hockey movie trilogy ever made. And then I'm just running through what I know, but we had the debate really behind the scenes here before the show. What was the greatest hockey movie, right? So sentiment aside, there's basically the argument is Slapshot with Paul Newman, or Miracle with Kurt Russell.
Oh, hey, how about Mystery Alaska?
I was just thinking
Mystery Alaska is solid too.
Oh, that's a good one.
Build the rink up in the
outside rink.
Like, the Rangers came up there. Unreal.
That'd just be fun set to be on to film that. Like they need to do another outdoor hockey movie.
Man, Slapshot is hard to beat.
Yeah,
there's just so many quotable. Oh, Kevin Durant is huge Canadiens fan. That's another good one actually. Great.
Like Durant with a T, like NBA, or am I reading that wrong?
D.
Okay, there's another
Durant.
Somebody
KD might be a Habs fan. I don't know. KD might be a Habs fan.
What? Well, he's trying to build a media empire in Star Weise, so that's a good fit.
Yeah.
Peanut butter and jelly. But tell me, but Dale, Slapshot, have you gone back and watched it lately? Does it still hold up, or are we getting sentimental because it's got Hanson brothers and like Paul Newman's? Like Paul Newman's kind of not even the main character in the movie. I feel like because they got this other guy.
That's a really good point too. the Hanson brothers make it so good. There's some like just classic hockey lines that like every hockey player and fan has used through the last 20 years. So I'm a little sentimental on that one too, but they're just like you said, there hasn't been enough good hockey movies. Like I'm everything aside, I'm so glad they're bringing back a hockey show for kids and anybody that can just kind of grow with it. Because I can't be showing my son Youngblood all the time, you know? Like,
I had an idea for a show. Can I spitball this one with you guys? This is
Sure.
we're gonna workshop this in
You're
real
the
time.
producer, man.
Fire.
You know, yeah, we got fans watching. You can tell me if you want to hear this kind of stuff. But I think we need a new hockey show or movie, and I think the idea is that we got to take someone from like rural, let's just say, rural Alberta or perhaps Manitoba, and the kid has to decide, or maybe rural Quebec. He's got a bit of a language thing barrier, and he's got to decide like either I'm going to go major junior or I'm going to go to the U.S. college. And let's just say he goes to the U.S. college, and think about the movies like He Got Game. Like we never had the good U.S. college or the program.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Good point.
Like the guy that goes to U.S. college, he goes to Michigan, and he's got like let's say like the Jim Harbaugh of hockey is there, big time program. He's got the boosters. We got all the corrupt NCAA people going on. We got massage therapists. Like we got the whole thing happening, and this kid is like kind of confused, but he knows this is his ticket. And then what he has to do is he's got to decide: is he going to break off in a couple of years, go pro, or is he going to finish his degree, do what his grandma and his mother and his father told him to do, which is get his education, and then go pro, or is he just going to go and fight for his life and play in the NHL? How's that for an idea? Can we do that? Can we produce that? Can we make that happen?
Oh, I love it.
That'd be wild.
Yeah. Okay.
Producer James. I mean, you're like I said, you're the producer. If anybody can make it happen, it's you. This is from your heart and mind. So
That's gonna be. It's gonna be so tough, like real life, when players are in the NCAA and they like. Just Jordan Harris news this week for the Habs was he's staying in Northeastern and he's going to be a UFA next year. If he doesn't sign with Montreal, like it's gonna be hard on these kids. Like one injury, you're out of the NHL nowadays. Essentially, if you blow your knee out bad enough, you're done. I wonder how much it is. Like, do you stay in college to get that degree and then go to the show, or do you sign that ticket and just hope? Weise, maybe you can talk with that.
When you're dealing with that situation, that's all about guys getting paid now. Because he waits one more year, he's a UFA. He signs a 2-year deal instead of 3, and he signs for as much as he wants. Yeah. So we've seen a ton of guys do it.
VC did it.
VC did it. Matt Gilroy was a guy when I was coming up that signed with the Rangers when I was with the Rangers. I don't know what he signed for, like $2 million or something. Ended up playing 1 or 2 years. Didn't really pan out. Great guy, really good player, but just never panned out. So it's like, do I sign with the Montreal Canadiens and try to turn pro now, or do I wait a year and I can pick the best situation for me and I can make more money? It's for college free agents, to me, it's a no-brainer. Like I'm waiting to be a UFA every time.
Yeah.
Underrated hockey movie, Odd Man Rush.
Yeah, I
gotta watch it.
Have you? Any of you guys seen it?
No. I like the suggestion though. If anybody else has any other ones that we won't know about, please put them in the chat. I'm up for hockey movies.
There's also a rumor. I don't know if it's a rumor, but Adam Sandler did say he's interested in a Happy Gilmore too. I know it's not hockey, but
phenomenal.
Come on, Weiser. I know you're just craving it over there. Come on.
I love Happy Gilmore's my favorite movie of all time. I'm craving it. Like, did you see him and Shooter go back and forth on Twitter?
No, I didn't. What were they saying?
You didn't see it? Oh,
no,
dude, you got to watch it. Gilmore hits let's see if I can. He goes, let's see if I still got it. And he goes and hammers it. And then he goes, and then Shooter McGavin gives like a video back, and he goes, Gilmore, 25 years, huh? Nice drive. And he does it in his voice, man. It's so good. And then he makes a putt. It's so good, man. I don't know.
That's a teaser. That sounds like a teaser to me almost.
Right? Like, if those two guys say, okay, we want to make the movie, like, producers would be like, okay, let's make the movie, no?
They made Dumb and Dumber 2, and I was personally disappointed, so I want to see Happy Gilmore 2. Like, I love Jim Carrey to death, but like, I don't know, why not at this point? I think it gets to the point where you're like, who cares? Let's just do it. Like, who cares how it does? Yeah. Let's just do it.
I think it would be hilarious on the senior tour. Imagine those two. Like, it'd be hilarious. I would love it.
And Bob Barker's still alive, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if
Bob Barker is still alive.
James confirmed that. Everyone's looking like, is he?
Yeah, like, we get a fact check. We just spit out stuff and hope they're kind of factual.
No, I promise. I heard a rumor, but it's
boys,
not.
I gotta sign.
Brandon's right.
I gotta sign off here, boys. I got some
thanks,
screaming,
Dale.
screaming babies.
Dale's only got 4 kids to look after. Yeah.
Hey, everybody that tuned in today, again, thank you. Make sure we subscribe, hit the like button. We love to see the feedback, and I will be on tomorrow actually. So we will.
Oh yes, tomorrow night.
All right.
Thanks, Dale.
All right, boys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Weise. Great job tonight.
Yeah, and I think we can just use the last few minutes while I've some of you watching here just to go over some of the programming here on Habs Tonight. First and foremost, thanks for watching. This has been incredible. We've been doing this for feels like a couple weeks.
I'd say a month from startup, and it's been insanely positive. The feedback, the attention, the promotion from fans, the like everything. We see it all. It's hard to keep up with, but we see it all, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, we really appreciate it. We're trying to build something more than just a weekly show. The weekly show is the mothership. Okay, so if you're going to set your calendar to anything on Habs Tonight, set it for Wednesday nights. We're going to aim for 8 p.m. Eastern start every Wednesday. We want to see you here. You saw it tonight. We have awesome guests. We have great content. But around all that, I mean, every day we're on Twitter, Facebook, social. We want to see you interact with the crew. We've got a great team here. I know, Deeks, you're doing pregame and postgame. Brandon, you're launching a new show. Maybe tell the audience watching about that.
So I think we're going to aim for, Thursday evenings, just because it's later on in the week. So Dale's older brother, Derek, me and him have hit it off recently. So we thought what some fans do enjoy, and it's just having a beer and just talking all sports. So, I mean, it'll cater to the Habs a little bit, but it's also just Thursday evening, Friday evening, or Saturday. Come on to the stream with us. We're going to crack a beer, have a drink. We'll talk Habs. We'll talk hockey. We'll talk fantasy sports, gambling, betting, you name it. I think anything's open. So it's called Crushing Cans, and I'm really looking forward to it. And the first one's tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern time.
Sorry, and is that live or is that pre-recorded?
That will be live.
Oh, nice. So come back here a bit earlier than you did tonight. Watch Crushing Cans. That's with Derek. That's with Brandon. And that's it's going to be, I assume, very serious discussions.
It's gonna be some fun topics. We'll say that. I think we're trying to get Dale to come on for one can tomorrow night. So you may see him, you may not. It all depends on his schedule. He is a busy guy. So 7:30 Eastern live. We're gonna try to go live most of the time, depending on scheduling and conflictions and stuff like that. Because I know Derek's got a couple kids of his own, so we're flexible. But tomorrow night for sure, guaranteed.
Cans of beer, by the way.
Just or bubbly. If you don't drink alcohol, have a bubbly, have a pop. Doesn't matter.
A 7-Up. Yeah, whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, doesn't have to be alcohol.
Cool. And Drew, you've got your pregame and postgame, so maybe just tell me a bit more about what's your approach to these shows? Because one of the things that really attracted us to bringing you into the network was just your clarity of presentation, just the professionalism. Maybe just tell people what to expect when they watch one of your programs.
Well, thank you, first of all. Well, we've had a great time with Brandon and Nick. We really have to get the three of us on a pre or post game show, or both. We've kind of been interchanging hosting. So what our plan is to really, I just saw a comment not that long ago here about a post game show, and that is the plan for myself and some of the other co-hosts going forward, is to do a live post game show after every Habs game. So that's kind of the plan. I was doing recorded post-game reaction videos on my own Drew Deeks channel before coming on to Habs Tonight. So the idea now is to take that and bring it into a live show after every Montreal Canadiens game, as many as we can get to, when, the emotion's fresh after an exciting win or, a tough loss. We want to get Habs fans interacting with us on the show, as we have a couple times already, and continue that throughout the season and playoffs. I think playoff pregame and postgames are going to be a blast. Obviously, we got to get there first. I don't want to say anything too soon, but definitely from myself, just trying to engage with the fans, not take this opportunity for granted. This is the career that I've, destined myself for, is broadcasting. Getting the chance, all of us, to do this with one of our favorite Montreal Canadiens players is still kind of a whirlwind for a lot of us. It's happening so quickly with Dale Weise, but this crew is like a family already, it feels like, and that's kind of the way we want it to feel, I think. And you're going to get more of us, you're going to get to know more of us personally, hopefully too, and get to know our personalities and our takes. Brandon's already taken off of the show with Derek's brother, which is amazing. And, there's just different ways to interact there's something for everybody, even on Habs Tonight. And I think that's a key. And I think that you don't have to be a Montreal Canadiens fan to enjoy and appreciate this show. We're going to talk about other teams. We have a respectful, honest take on this show from all sides, meaning that we don't want to tear apart players. We don't want to tear apart coaches. We want to be respectful, even if we disagree. I think that's missing in media, and that's something you don't get anywhere else but here on Habs Tonight with, former NHL players. We got Don Cherry coming on Saturday. Like, this is just the beginning of the show. This is just Brandon Prust was on fire tonight. That was like one of the most entertaining player interviews I've watched, period. And I'm just on the sidelines here as part of the show, just kind of in awe. So that's a long-winded version of me just saying I can't wait to keep this going. But yeah, that's what you'll expect from all of us.
And we lost our rink in the background, which means we're probably we're at 2 hours for anyone who's been here since the beginning. So I am going to give it a wrap. But yeah, just a few more things real quick. We also have some content that's not live. It's stuff that we're building. The one series that I'm producing right now, it's called Hockey Dads, and it's not just for dads, obviously.
Very cool show.
I love this one.
Very cool.
And what we're trying to do is, take Dale and another colleague of ours, Barrington Miller, who played in the NCAA. He could maybe be that character in my show, but we sat down, recorded some stuff about just common questions we get about how to raise children in hockey and navigating all the pitfalls and questions that you might have when you are raising a hockey kid, right? And I myself have a hockey kid. I guess I am a hockey dad, right? So that's something it's not about Habs necessarily. It's not about, professional hockey, but it's about hockey and it's about our hockey life. And that's something that I think we're all passionate about. We probably have hockey touching us in many different ways. And again, we want Habs Tonight, the platform, to grow into other things. And this is what we're going to try to do. So really at the end of this, I'm going to show that one sec. Ideas can come to us all sorts of ways. Get us, Twitter. We're on there all the time. Hit us at email, live@habstonight.com. Email me directly. It's james@habstonight.com. Tom Brady is a hockey dad. There is no shortage of ways to give us ideas. We can produce content and also deliver it in different languages. We also have a French program.
Yes, that's huge. Yes.
Let's forward to the league,
and
right?
Shane. Anik and Shane absolutely did it. It was amazing. Yeah, you can go ahead and talk about that if you want, James.
Yeah, no, just again, Anik and Shane, Anik, sorry, just breaking down what's happening every Monday around the league en français. And, we know that a lot of Habs fans, English is not their first language. It might not be their language whatsoever. And so we want to make sure that you guys have everything delivered to you in the way that you want to hear and see it. So this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to be diverse, and we want this to be an inclusive space for hockey discussion. So that's really important. But I think I'll leave you with one final note here. And again, this is a teaser. This is for tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. The Crushing Cans teaser trailer. If you don't mind, indulge us for a moment. It's not very long, but it's very exciting.
Oh. How good is Nick?
I know. Like, I was gonna say earlier when you guys dropped that in the group chat, I was gonna be like, "What doesn't Nick do?" Like,
I know.
Like, unbelievable. Like I mentioned earlier, but what a gift she is. I know you're listening, and Nick, you better be, because we love you. So
I was having lunch with my mother because we work in the same building, and I was just sitting there smiling, looking at my phone at lunchtime. She's like, "What did you do?" I just showed her the video, and she's like, "That and Nick is incredible." I was like, she does all of her stuff. Yeah, we try to do something, and then Nick's like, "Nah, I'll do it. I'm like the pro at it." We're like, "Okay, yeah, perfect."
Blink of an eye too. Like, just doesn't just. Oh, I got that. You need a graphic? You need a thumbnail? Got boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that is the most impressive part of this. Just so you know, this is a volunteer-run endeavor right now, and this is just people who bring a lot of unique skills out of their day. A lot of us are parents, a lot of us have full-time jobs, but we're doing this because we're very passionate about hockey. We're passionate about the Habs, and obviously have a great opportunity with Dale and all the people he knows, and Aaron, who's got a tremendous experience and broadcast as well, who brings great energy to the show as well. So any final thoughts or comments, guys? Go ahead.
Actually, one last thing. I was going to add a Nick in quick so she could explain the Autour de la Ligue quickly in French, if she doesn't mind. Thumbs up if you don't mind coming on. Sure. There we go.
There she is, the legend herself.
Yes. Pumping her tires. Uh-oh, no audio.
I'll give her a sec to grab her mic there. But yeah, I was gonna say a shout out to Alyssa and Stephanie. The people were
Yes.
asking when they're gonna host again.
The
By the way,
all-female show was incredible.
Yeah, that was wicked too. I think that was one of our best viewed episodes as well thus far.
Yeah,
so.
they're going to be doing more post game shows for sure. So stay tuned with them. We're going to do shows with them. We're gonna have a lot of fun together. I think all of us. So, and Nick, do we have you now?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
There you are.
Perfect. Yeah, so Autour de la Ligue is going to be a show on every Monday with Shane and I. We're going to be discussing everything that's going on around the league, obviously self-entitled. And we're asking French fans to basically email us, come on the show with us if you want to have your turn, talk about sports, and just, like we say, shoot the shit, have fun, and purely in French. So it's going to be very exciting to have the French fan base join us. And we're looking to have a few guests as well in to join us. So I know we've got the possibility of Chantal Maccabi, who might join us as well. So it's going to be great.
That's amazing. That is incredible.
Yeah.
So again, fans, if you've got guest suggestions, you got stuff you want us to talk about, I think thus far we've been pretty responsive. Just tell us where you want us to steer the ship. In some ways we can get there. In other ways, we'll have to maybe ask for favors. But thus far, I think hopefully we're delivering the stuff that you want. I think the numbers tonight showed that you guys are really receptive to what we're doing, and we appreciate it. Thank you for spending the time.
Thank you for watching, everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And my last thing, two last things. The podcast that you heard, or the show that you heard tonight, it'll be on Spotify, and just as of today, we're on Google Podcast and Apple Podcast. So it's all there for you to listen to between your ears, even though we don't want to call it a podcast. And
It's a live casting.
Yeah. It's like, who's going to say it first? Live cast, not a podcast.
Live cast. Well,
I know
do a lot of
Aaron's
things.
just at the back and he's like, it's live casting.
Yeah. Right. We're going to get a message after the show. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Saturday, we'll see everyone Saturday. But before that, Ask Plecky. It's going up tomorrow. That's going to be interesting. You'll find out why Thomas Plekanec wears a turtleneck, why he wore a turtleneck all these years.
And much more.
And much more. So that's all I got. Anyone else got anything final to say for the evening? It's up to you.
Prusty said it all tonight. There was a
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, let's not get in the way of that.
What a rock star, man. He's so fun. Oh my gosh, he's so
Thanks
fun.
for everybody that stayed until this. This is 2 hours now. So once again, the fans are amazing. We appreciate everything. Thank you guys. I'll see some of you tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern.
Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy
Russian
Mighty
game.
Ducks. And until next time, I'm James. We got Brandon, we got Drew, we got Nick. Have a good night.